Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Football Fignuts podcast. This is episode number 209 overall, but if you keep track by season, this is the 15th episode of season 5. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are back, Craig, after another good week. I don't know about you, but I made money this week.
You did make money this week. I broke even this week. I went a little too
All right,
heavy
that's
with
fine.
the same players, and that's what happens if they don't do well. So
That's it. That's exactly it. I'll tell this funny story before we even get into drinks. I had one pool. It was a double up, and it was a top 10 we're going to win. It was a 23-man pool, 10 win, and I'm sitting in 8th, and I've only got one guy in the 4 o'clock game. So I'm like, there's no way. I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I'm only in the money by like 4 points. There is no way I win this pool. That sucks. And it was the heaviest betting pool I'd put. It's the most money I put into a pool this weekend. I go back like in the fourth quarter to 4 o'clock game, and I'm still in 8th place.
Oh.
And I'm still exactly 2 points above the pay line. And I'm like, how in the fucking hell am I still in this goddamn pool? And that's when I look. The one guy I've got is like 86% owned, and everybody who's anywhere near me has one guy. So you know what? Here's a little tip. If somebody's 86% owned and everybody's got one guy going, you don't have to go team by team. It's probably that guy.
It's probably.
And so literally, I think it was Kareem Hunt. So I would see Kareem Hunt rushes for 2 yards. Everybody's score would go up by 0.2 and nobody would change positions. And I did. I ended up finishing 8th in that pool. I'm like, that never happens. Never in a million years do I run into a pool like that. So high ownership actually saved my ass in one pool this week. But all right, but first, let's start where we always start. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight I have a can of beer called the Monkster Mash Pumpkin Ale.
Ooh.
By,
Okay.
This is by Spencer Brewery in Spencer, Massachusetts.
Really?
Yes, it is and on the side of the can, all it says is about the beer. Ale brewed with pumpkin and spices. So,
well, that's just right to the point.
it really is. I already poured it in the glass, so there's no sound effect. So yeah, this is a very, like almost like a honey kind of looking color. There is definitely light penetration because I can't see my finger through it. So let's see here.
Okay. Well, he's just tasting that. I'm going to admit that I am going soft drink tonight just because I have one of those weeks at work where there is no easy day. Like tomorrow, I have like 6 meetings. They're all in the morning until like 2 o'clock. And I'm like, I can't afford to have a beer.
So does that
tonight.
mean you do need beer though?
I'll need one tomorrow night. I'll need one tomorrow night. But the way I've been feeling this week, I've just been so tired. It's a change of seasons. It starts getting darker earlier, and my brain just can't cope. And I love it. I love the fact that I can open my window right now, and it's like 45 degrees in my bedroom. I love it. But you know, right now. It's you know, for work reasons. I'm taking the night off. I've got some Gatorade Zero over here. So
there you go. I couldn't get into
all right, so tell me about
Zero. So this is basically exactly what the can says. It is It's an ale with pumpkin. There's definitely a pumpkin flavor, and there are some like almost cinnamony kind of spice, maybe some allspice. It's very easy to drink. This is kind of when we went to Aspetuck to try their pumpkin ale. This is what I thought it was going to taste like.
Okay. Well, we haven't been there in a while. Oh, wait, no, we have been to Aspetuck. For some reason, I have Voracious in my head when you said that.
We have not been to Voracious in a while, no.
As a matter of fact, I believe it's been about a year because I think we went last October. You, me, and my wife sat in the corner because they had the windows of the office were filled with spooky stuff, and one of them made me jump because I didn't realize it wasn't a real person.
Wait, was that last year or was that 3 years ago? Because time is like messed up in my head.
I don't know.
Time doesn't exist. I think it was pre-COVID. So
it might have been 2019. It might have been 2 full years ago. So all right, we'll have to look at it. So all right, well, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So this is thumbs up.
Thumbs up, and I do have a can for you to try.
Nice. I can't wait. Yeah, I mean, that's the worst thing. I have this busy week at work, and I have to work Sunday night. So I'm not going to be able to do football with you guys on Sunday, which is going to annoy the crap out of me. I got to work Sunday 4 to 8. And
that's a long. Well, no, I mean that's not a long day, but it's right in the middle of the day.
But that's exactly it. exactly it. What am I supposed to do? Come party with you guys from 12 to 3, sober up, and go to work from 4 to 8?
Sure.
And it's not like brainless work. This is like planning meetings and shit. I actually have to be involved. I'm like, oh, I tried so hard to talk my way out of it. I just don't feel like doing it. But all right, anyway, let's get to burning hot takes. Craig, what do you got for me this week?
All right, I'll hold on. I had it up. Let me see if I can get it back. Come on. Okay, so after last week, a big thing I saw repeatedly online, because that's where everyone, because the internet's always right about everything.
Correct.
Is that it's time for the Eagles to give up the Jalen Hurts experiment and find another quarterback.
Really?
Is this just typical fan outrage, or do the Eagles need like a complete reset with everything?
Here's the thing. I don't feel like he's been that terrible. Am I crazy?
I mean, with what he has to play with, I don't think he's been that bad. There's definitely been worse.
I mean, yeah. I mean, all right. So I'm pulling up his numbers from this year. I keep forgetting that they actually played Kansas City this year. They beat Atlanta. They beat Carolina. Their only wins are on the road. They've lost 3 out of 3 home games, but those 3 home games were San Francisco, Kansas City, and Tampa. All right, let's see here. 264 for 3 and 0 picks, 190, 326 for 2 and 2, 387 for 2 touchdowns and no picks, 198 and a pick, 115 and a pick. All right, so if you go based off the last 2 weeks, he's terrible. He's only thrown for a combined 313 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. His quarterback rating is somewhere around 60. I don't think it's time you give up the ship on him, though. Tampa's a solid defense, and he gave them a chance. No, I'm not jumping ship on Jalen Hurts. I'm really not. I understand the skepticism. I understand why people are concerned. There's a guy in one dynasty league who's been chasing him on me since we got him.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, I think it was after the San Francisco game, all of a sudden I was like, hey, I saw you were looking, and he made us a solid offer too, and then pulled it back. And I was like, hey, were you making me an offer for Hurts? And he was like, yeah, man, I'm backing off of Hurts. I'm like, really? Because you've been making me a really bad offer a week for the last year and a half. Like, and when I say bad offer, I mean like, I'll send you Dan Arnold and my 2022 first round.
He's still there. There you go.
Yeah, he's a young quarterback. No. Send me like 3 picks and Travis Kelce, and we'll talk. It's dynasty.
Yeah, dynasty's a different beast.
I think the last offer, and he pulled it right before I could see it, was he offered us something. It was something insane, like Devontae Adams, Kadarius Toney, and his 1 or 2 pick next year. And I'm like, that'll talk about, because there's a lot of potential there too. But he pulled it back. He was like, "No, man, I'm backing off Jalen." So no, I'm not jumping off the Jalen Hurts thing. Am I saying go buy him? Absolutely not. I am not saying go buy Jalen Hurts, but I'm also not going to sit here and say, I'm ready to give up on him. I mean, the team is not good, and they just traded away Zach Ertz.
That's true. So so I think it really has to do with what he has around him.
Yeah.
And overall, they are not a stupendous team right now. They are not the team that went to the Super Bowl not that long ago either.
And that's what people don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to hear that they're not. And that's the thing. No, this is everybody. This is football fans in general right here, right? Don't tell me my team isn't a contender. Well, guess what? Your team's not a contender.
Not anymore.
I will tell you that. They are not a contender. Sorry. Have a nice day. Feel better.
It's like, you remember, this is baseball. You remember way back when the Rays were like the best team in baseball and they won the World Series.
Yeah.
And then everyone left.
Yep.
in that offseason. Then the following year they were terrible.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And guess what? That's the nature of football.
Yep.
That is the nature of football.
You win a championship, everyone wants more money, and your team cannot afford everyone, usually.
Yeah. Speaking of people who can't afford, my question for you is, The rumor train is starting to hypen up as we are getting closer to the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I think it's next week, isn't it?
I think
It's
so, or
like right around the
or
corner.
2 weeks. I think it's the end of October, right?
The biggest rumor monger has been Deshaun Watson by a mile. But today, The Spun by Sports Illustrated, which is the worst title of a page I've ever seen. The Spun?
Yeah,
No,
I don't know.
that's not proper English. The Spun is saying the latest rumors are Tua Tagliavoa. I still can't say his name. Going to Washington.
Really?
Do you buy Tua going to Washington?
I don't. I think the way Heineke, damn it, I can't pronounce his.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think like last week he did not have a good week against the Chiefs, but
oh yeah,
I think overall the team is behind him, especially after his performance last year. So I can't see Washington making a switch like that. I mean, anything's possible, but
yeah,
I can't see that right now.
I agree. I think that people love to toss stuff out there. See, so here's what happens in the sports world. One guy hears from the uncle of the cousin of the guy who cleans the offices for the Washington Redskins.
Oh, Washington football team.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I apologize. The Washington football team, that while he was emptying the trash and vacuuming one night, the GM was there late. And when he switched the vacuum off, he went, "Are you kidding? That's what you want for Tua? Get out of here." And hung up the phone, and the guy went, "Oh." So he picked up his phone and called his uncle's cousin's roommate, his friend, who happens to know Adam Schefter's barber, and sold it for like $4. Sold that piece of information for $4 and a pack of smokes, or puts it on the internet and just lets it fester. What they don't understand is 90% of the time that stuff happens, it's some guy's fantasy team. or there's a special at the deli they call the Tua, and he just found out that it went up $3 a unit because freaking supply shortages are rocking the country. That's what that shit is. Because here's the thing, that's how air quotes insiders are born. Oh, but what if he's right? What if he's right? Remember when this happened with Jake Glazier? Remember, Jake Glazier had broke some story that everyone was like, "No, that's insane." The team denied it was happening. Oh my god, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Oh my god. Let me see if I can find it on the fly here. I remember this from years ago. There was something with the Raiders. He reported something with the Raiders that everybody and their mother denied. And then all of a sudden it turned out to be true, and all of a sudden he was on Fox NFL Sunday. Oh, I can't find it now. And maybe I'm getting the wrong guy. I'll apologize if it's not Jay Glazer, but this is how insiders are born. So these guys, they bank on this one time they're right. So they say Tua's going to Washington. Watch, it's going to happen. If they're wrong, everyone just laughs and goes, "Yeah, that's them being them." But if they're right, all of a sudden they're sitting next to Adam Schefter on ESPN for a couple of weeks, and they're getting paid to do it.
Yeah, no, that is true.
So no, I don't buy the Tua rumors either. So, but you know what? We're moving along tonight because we're going to debut a new mini segment. But before we could do that, we have to play America's favorite game. Because when we debut our new mini segment, it's going to tie into America's favorite game, and I don't want to ruin America's favorite game. So we're going to do America's favorite game right now.
Nice.
Is my sound coming through okay on your end?
You were a little broken up before, but you're good right now.
What the hell? You know what? Scott might be right.
What?
It might be Google. It might be. So 30 seconds side story. We've been playing New World. Craig, I, and our friend Scott have been playing New World. And supposedly every time I open Google Chrome, it eats so much of my bandwidth that my vocal quality goes down. Well, I just had Google Chrome open while I was looking at the Tua rumors.
Oh, you should switch to Firefox. See what happens.
I might have to just switch. I'm like, I uninstalled a whole bunch of extensions. I did all sorts of stuff on it. So I don't know. All right. America's favorite game. You want the good news? I got good news for you this week.
What is the good news?
There is no bad news. There's only good news. The good news is there's only 2 games over 50.
Oh, that's right. We're into bye weeks.
We're into bye weeks. 2 games over 50 and nothing under 42.
Okay.
So you get 3 strikes to tell me the 2 games that are going to be over 50. And why do we do this, Craig?
Why do we do this, Britt?
Oh, you're going to throw it back at me.
I thought we were doing
actually
one of those. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. I thought you were going to go do one of these, No, what you would explain to the audience, why is an over and under of at least 50 plus important in fantasy football?
Because those are the games we want to target, because more than likely we are going to have people in value in those games.
Absolutely. Those are the guys. If someone's scoring points in a real football game, they're scoring points in fantasy football games.
That's right.
And if Vegas says that this game's going to score 50 points, then there's got to be usable people in there. That's the idea behind it, and it's relatively accurate. So, all right. So, Craig, 2 games of at least 50 points combined. Talk to me. 3 strikes. Still get your full complement of strikes.
Let's look at the schedule here. Okay. All right. It's definitely not going to be the Broncos. It's not the Giants. All right. We're going to have to go with the obvious. We're going to have to go with Kansas City and Tennessee.
Not only are you right, that's the highest over-under of the week. Are you ready for the number?
I'm ready for the number.
56.5.
Damn. Are you gonna stack that game? Would you take a stack of either of those teams?
No, because the only person who's usable on the Titans is Derrick Henry. Who am I stacking him with?
I guess.
And the Chiefs, I don't know anybody who's usable right now. They still just look like they're not. I don't know what's going on. They've got no running game. Patrick Mahomes is forcing the ball into spots that no one should force the ball into. And Tyreek Hill, I seriously think he's high on pain pills. Did you see? Well, the game wasn't nationally televised this week. He dropped 2 balls, one of which went right through his hands and into the hands of a defensive back for an interception, which is 2 weeks in a row that's happened. And he had another one that hit him in the hands he just missed. And then he disappeared from the game for like 20 minutes with a calf injury. And then he came back in the second half and was everywhere. I'm like, did he get high off the goofballs at halftime? I mean, what? He could barely move, and he couldn't make his cuts in the first half. In the second half, he looked like Tyreek Hill. I mean, I'm not accusing the guy of using drugs. I mean, obviously, I'm tongue-in-cheek here, but seriously, I was like, wait a minute, what is going on here?
Yeah, like what just happened?
Like, seriously, what happened? So, I don't know. I want to. Yes, let's put it this way. This game is going to be high scoring.
Yes.
Derrick Henry. Well, we'll talk about his value in the next segment. Derrick Henry's he's probably a must use in every cash pool this week.
And he's expensive.
Don't care. I've got him in. I don't have the metric up in front of me right now, but I'm gonna guess the metric's putting him at least 28 to 30 points against the Chiefs, which means he needs to be $10,000 to not make value. And even then, I might go value other places because I can honestly see him having 200 yards and 3 touchdowns without blinking an eye against the Kansas City Chiefs. They are that bad on defense. They looked better this week. They looked better, but they're still not good. I think the cracks are starting to show in Kansas City.
Let's see here. Right. So there's one more game, right?
One more, and you have all your strikes. I see a couple of bait games, too, that you're like, oh, it could be.
It could be the Cardinals against the Texans.
I think for that one, you have to ask yourself, can the Cardinals score the majority of those 50 points?
Packers versus Washington.
Same issue. I mean, here's the problem with those two matchups.
Yeah.
If you think that game can be 40-10, because I don't think Washington's scoring more than 10 points. I don't think Houston's scoring more than 10 points. So the question you have to ask yourself is, either of those games going to be so dominant by the team that's favored? That's what you have to ask yourself. And if the answer is yes, you should guess them. If the answer is no, then you shouldn't.
Let's see. Ooh, Bengals-Ravens. That could be an interesting game. All right. I'm going to go with the team that has a quarterback as my player comeback, one of my comeback players of the year. I'm going to go with Lions-Rams.
Lions-Rams is correct.
Ooh.
50.5.
Ooh,
and
that was a close one.
And again, that goes exactly along what I was just talking about, right? That game is 45-10 Rams in my head.
At least.
Now, but here's the thing. Is this vengeance game? These are the two
them?
quarterbacks. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. So here's what I'm going to say about this before you go on I'm going to hand you the mic on this one.
Yeah.
This is obviously a vengeance game for both of these quarterbacks. The difference is only one of the quarterbacks is good enough to pull off a vengeance game. And it's not Jared Goff.
Listen, we all know that Cinch after the Super Bowls jinxed Goff. So that's what happened there. It's just he has Swift, but other than that, I mean, do the Lions have any offensive? They have Hawkinson, but who are the receivers?
But that's not Goff's issue because Goff had great receivers and he didn't do half of what Stafford's doing with them.
That's true.
Kupp and Woods are going to have better years under Stafford than they had under Goff. I don't have their numbers in front of me because I'm scared to open Google Chrome.
Because Kupp is he's on pace to have over 600 yards receiving already
through 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
So that means he's on pace for over 1,600 yards. 1,700. We're playing an extra game this year.
Yep.
He could have a 2,000-yard receiving season
easily.
And that's the other thing about it. It's not a secret that he's throwing there. The problem is, who are you leaving open? Because if you double Cooper Kupp, then he's going to look at Robert Woods. And if you somehow cheat and double cover them both, then there is no one within a mile of Tyler Higbee.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, just in case, let's assume somehow you bribed a ref and you've got 15 men on the field. You have to account for Darrell Henderson. He's not the greatest running back ever, but he can catch.
That's true.
He can catch. And if there's no one there to tackle, he's a head of steam runner. He gets 6 steps untouched, and he is just going to barrel. It's kind of like Jerome Bettis in that respect, except Jerome Bettis could get started on step 2.
True.
Henderson takes a little bit to get the momentum going, but if Henderson gets that momentum going, he's been tough to stop. What are you going to do? You can't. It's not stoppable.
And the Lions' defense is broken, so they're in trouble. They're in for a long day.
I don't know that I can take I will use Rams all day long in this game. I won't touch Detroit. And I it's funny because we heard about Tom Brady returns to New England. Vengeance. Really?
Wasn't that good of a game for him? They almost lost.
Isn't this a bigger vengeance game? These two quarterbacks got traded from each other. Matt Stafford spent better part of a decade in Detroit, and they dealt him for a guy that is like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the sack of potatoes went to the Super Bowl, which is why Detroit wanted him, and now Detroit's realizing they got a sack of potatoes. Don't forget, Bud Light goes to the Super Bowl every year, and it's still Bud Light.
Ooh. That's
just saying.
That's very true.
Somebody put a picture up on the Connecticut Beer Drinkers page. They were at a bar and it was craft beer menu and there was 6 beers with descriptions.
Uh-huh.
And at the bottom it just said Bud Light and the guy just puts which one doesn't belong with the others. I was just laughing. I was like, oh. So Craig wins America's favorite game with all of his strikes.
Thank you.
Which leads us into our new segment. Because something miraculous happened this week, Craig.
What happened?
Sports betting became legal in the state of Connecticut, where just so happens you and I live.
This is true.
So I said to myself, I says, how do we capitalize off this? And so welcome to our new unnamed segment. Right now we're calling it Picks with the Source. If you're new to our show, the Source is a mysterious figure who sometimes gives Craig and I beer to review, refuses to come on here for contractual reasons, but is an excellent fantasy football analyst. He sometimes feeds us little tidbits. Imagine if Adam Schefter wore an overcoat and refused to come on camera except in a shadowy Dateline kind of way, and you've got the Source. The Source has been looking forward to sports betting more than anybody. So I reached out to the Source this week. I went into this abandoned garage next to an old community college, and he stepped out of the shadows. And I said to him, as I walked to him, he said, "No, stay far away." And he said to me, I said, "Well, are you worried about your identity being revealed?" And he said, "No, I'm worried about COVID. You stay over there." And I said, Source, I want to bring your knowledge to the people. Give me one game to talk about on the air. And so the Source gave me one bet that he's very interested to see. And I'm going to reveal that bet. But first, I want to hear from Craig. With sports betting now legal, are you going to wager any money? And what pick are you looking at? It doesn't even have to be like a guaranteed lock pick. Let me just tell you, this is entertainment value conversation right here. I am not going to tell you who you should pick, but there's some picks out there that are really interesting and worth discussion. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe it's something you really want to bet. Maybe it's something you're like, I wouldn't have thought the line went that way. Craig, what speaks to you in the lines in week 7?
So this week, and now see, I have to do this and not try to be biased with the Bengals, so I'm picking a different game. So,
sure. Well, you could be biased. That's fine too.
So I'm looking at the Thursday game. Okay.
Oh no.
Right. I know.
So unpredictable. Oh man, this is ballsy.
But it's the Broncos at Cleveland. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
They're both 3-3. But right now, Baker Mayfield's not playing. Nick Chubb is out. Kareem Hunt is out. Beckham is probably not going to play. And they're
Jarvis Landry upright?
No, he's out.
He's out too because he played last week, didn't he?
Did he? I thought he was still hurt.
Oh, maybe he is. Maybe I misread that. Okay. My God,
and Case Keenum is the starting quarterback for the Browns.
That was my question. Who's the quarterback?
So,
my God, what's that line?
So the Broncos are an underdog and they're getting 3.
The Broncos, the game's in Cleveland?
It's in Cleveland.
The Broncos are getting 3 in Cleveland
and
from
everyone
a team
in Cleveland
that has
broken.
And Melvin Gordon isn't.
Right.
Wow.
So I think I would take the Broncos getting 3 points.
I think I'll probably put $5 on that. Sure, why not? That's intriguing to me. I got in it. DraftKings did one of their stupid welcome to betting opt-in things, which will probably only pay me in site credit, like I've bitched about before. But I bet $1 that either Denver or Cleveland would score points. I shit you not. They're going to give me $25 if either Denver or Cleveland scores points.
Does it have to be like a touchdown or a field goal, or does it matter?
Points. As long as that game does not end 0-0, I win $25. Yeah, but they're going to give it to you in site credit. I know. And you know what I'm going to do with that $25 in site credit? I'm going to play for free. I'm going to play $25 worth of bets for $1 worth of real money and be perfectly fine with I don't care what happens with it.
There you go.
It's pure entertainment value for me. Nope, no what? No but. Well, shouldn't you bet more? Nope. Nope. Take my $1, give me my 25 Disney bucks, and I'll spend it as I wish. So, okay, so for me, oh crap, I had it, now it's gone.
Oh, sad.
No, stop it. My computer's acting up. Now I got to pull it up again. Hold on a second. All right, so let me tell you what the Source did, and as I'm pulling up mine, because we can discuss the Source. The Source's intriguing pick of the week is Seattle +5 at home against the Saints.
Oh.
He says the Saints have been inconsistent this year and have yet to win back-to-back games. The last game was a win versus Washington. They're coming off their bye, but Seattle played pretty well against a Steelers team that's been playing better as of late. So he thinks Seattle +5 against the Saints. What do you think?
And I would think about that because they're at home. I don't know, watching Geno Smith play over the years, I don't know about him in Seattle yet. I mean, he's a competent QB, but watching him when he was a Jet, I don't know. It's a little iffy for me.
Oh, this one, one has just jumped. I'm just scrolling through the lines right now, and one just absolutely jumped out at me, but I'm going to scroll all the way through.
So
really?
While you're scrolling, a game I'm not going to touch?
Yeah, what are you not touching?
The Falcons at the Dolphins, with the Dolphins getting 2.5.
I was just looking at that as an intriguing game. The Dolphins are getting 2.5.
I'm scared of that one because I don't know. I don't trust either one of those teams.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. All right, so you know what? My actually intriguing pick of the week this week, and I put $1 on this already, is Bears-Bucks. The Bears are getting 12 points.
What? Are they home?
I think it's in Tampa. I'm gonna go look right now. So bear with me for a second.
Bear.
What have the Bear? Ha! Have the Bears been get? I feel like the Bear games have been close.
The Bear
Let's see
games have
here.
all been close-ish.
No, I don't want that. Why are you doing that? Okay, so they lost by 10 to the Packers. They lost by 11 to the Raiders. Oh no, they beat the Raiders by 11. They beat the Lions by 10. They lost to the Browns by 20. Okay, so they got blown out there. They beat the Bengals by 3, and they lost to the Rams by 20. So their worst losses of the year were by 20 to the Rams and to the Browns. Now, Browns was week 3. Everybody was still mostly healthy there.
Right.
But they've stayed within 2 touchdowns of the Raiders. They stayed within 10 of the Packers. Do we really think the Bucks are going to blow them out by more than 12 points?
I mean, maybe it might be the Tom Brady effect. So,
yeah, I'm gonna put a couple bucks on the Bears and just roll with it and see what happens. Like I said, I'm gonna have $25 worth of funny money to use. I can throw $5 at the Bears plus 12.5. I think that's too many points. I think that's too many points to give the Bears. Just saying.
That's fair.
Just saying. Not to mention, if I were Justin Fields, this would be the game where I really want to go out there and get jazzed up and show I belong here. You beat the GOAT, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay. So that is that. So let's get on to this week's metric. I'm cruising right along. I am so freaking tired, Craig.
How tired are you?
So tired that I am just cruising through these picks. I don't even know where I am anymore. Who am I? He fakes the fake. Why won't this open? Oh, there it is. It's open on the other monitor. God damn it. 2-monitor setup is playing with my brain. I went to a 2-monitor setup this week in my house, and now I'm always looking at the monitor on the right, and it's open on the left. And I'm like, why won't this open? It's open to your left, dumbass. It's in front of your face. You're just not looking in that direction. All right, let's drag this to this monitor. Okay. All right, we're okay. So, go to the metric. It says to the metric, let's talk quarterbacks. The metric goes, don't worry about it. I got 16 of them. And I'm like, no. First off, some of the 16, I'm completely disregarding. Daniel Jones, no, not touching it. Goff, not touching it. Bridgewater, not touching it. Garoppolo, not touching it. Hurts, not touching it. Darnold, not touching it. I know the Giants are miserable. First off, the Giants are all dead. Barkley might not play.
Too. Yep.
Tony might not play. How Daniel Jones gets to 16 points, he's only 5,400, but how he gets to 16 points is beyond me. What I want to do, and probably won't be able to afford to do, is use Patrick Mahomes at 8,400. Because I think he's going to get back on track this game, and it's a great place to get back on track against Tennessee. If I can't use that, then I'm probably going to go a little cheaper, and I'm using either Matt Ryan or Tua. And I think you can use either one because I think they're both going to score about 20 points, and they're right around the 5,500 mark. So if I can afford Patrick, I'm going to go Patrick. But if not, I'm going to probably go Matt Ryan or Tua. What are you looking at this week in quarterback?
So this week, yeah, I think Mahomes is just right now is just too expensive for what you're going to get. I
got him for 30 points. I think he's going to produce.
Even with the way he's been playing, that's my only concern.
Tennessee is very bad on defense. Very bad.
I have been thinking about a Ram stack, so I do kind of like Matthew Stafford at 7,100.
To me, he's too expensive for what he's going to produce.
Against Detroit with a broken defense, maybe.
I think they're going to run the ball a shitload. I think they're going to get up like 35-6, and they're just going to run the ball. I really do. I can't see Detroit giving them any sort of challenge.
No, they're not. Really.
So then, I mean, he may not even be. There's a realistic possibility that Stafford doesn't play the fourth quarter.
That's true too, because Joe Burrow did not play the fourth quarter against Detroit either.
And Stafford's older, and they know this. So I'm just saying.
That's true.
Okay, but I don't.
And then the thing I'm kind of looking at. I mean, people have been down on Darnold the last 2 weeks, but he's playing the Giants.
That's the thing.
And the Giants are
bad. The Giants secondary has promise, but it's so inconsistent you can't count on it.
And he's 5,900, so
that's So 5,900 for Darnold or 5,700 for Ryan? See, I think Ryan's good for a couple extra points, so I'm going to lean Ryan and
I
save
would
on
have to
$200.
see who Ryan's what Falcons receivers are playing.
Fair point. Okay. Running backs. Let's make this easy. You're using Derrick Henry.
And then someone
remember what
really
I said?
cheap.
30 points, I said, right?
Yes.
I said that without looking at the metric. I'm so busy today. I literally flew in the door after work. I sat down. I ran the algorithm. I went. I made dinner. I came back. We recorded. I've got him at 32 points, and he's 9,200. He is going to feast on Kansas City, and I say that as a cheese. According to my algorithm, I got him for about 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think that could actually be 180 yards and 3 touchdowns easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using Derrick Henry. Now, on the other side, well, how are you going to afford that? Easy. I'm going to use Darrell Williams. Oh, my God. Is it legal for me to make a lineup completely based off of one game?
Yeah, you just can't, I think.
I don't think I can. I think you can't use more than
captain's games. You can't use everyone on the same team.
Right, and I think that's the same thing in classic lineups. I think you can actually only use 4 people from the same game. Because otherwise, I'm using Mahomes, Henry, and Williams to start my lineup. And yes, I realize I just spent a third of my cap on 10% of my players. Don't care. If I'm looking to save money this week, Darrell Henderson, I just said I think they're going to run the ball down their throat. I think Henderson's a nice option this week. But I've only got 2 guys above value, and they're Derrick Henry and Darrell Williams. So I'm looking to do that. What do you like this week at running back?
Yeah, if you can fit him in, definitely start Derrick Henry. Darrell Williams, I think, is a nice option at 5,800. And as much as it pains me to say this, I'm getting back on the Leonard Fournette bus. He's starting to come around. Tampa Bay is starting to use him more, and he's 6,400.
I can't.
I'm starting to. I didn't say I was actually. I'm considering buying a ticket for the Leonard Fournette bus.
Okay, so just to be fair, I just opened up a freebie lineup and put in Mahomes, Henry, and Williams into it, and I've only got $26,000 left. I literally spent half my budget.
You are starting Hunter Renfrow and Brandon Ayuk.
Well, I'll tell you who the metric wants me to start. Metric wants me to start Devontae Adams. That ain't happening in this lineup. That is not happening in this lineup.
I'm sorry. Who are the next 2 people?
Nick Westbrook, Eichen. But look it's the Tennessee-Kansas City game again.
Yeah.
He's 3,300, and again, Kansas City is bad, and the freaking Titans are beat up. Can I put him in my lineup? He might save my lineup. Because if he's that cheap, there he is, 3,300. I don't even know who this guy is, I'm going to be completely honest. He had 5.7 points against Buffalo. He had 3 for 27. Oh, he's had 3 or 4 receptions 3 of the last 4 weeks. And week 5, he didn't catch for anything. So, all right. I mean, we could use him. Then there's Rashad Bateman in Baltimore. I don't know if I can trust any Baltimore receivers. He's only 3,400, but still. But look who the 4th name is on the list. It's Tyreek Hill.
It is. He's 86.
8,600, and the metric says he's good for 25 to 26 points. Oh my God, this game is insane. Oh my God. I can't fit him into this lineup. Like if I tried, okay, I need a wide out, a tight end, a flex, and a defense, and I've only got 14 grand left. And I still need, so I would have to use Bateman, right? Because I need to save money.
Right.
All right, so we'll put Bateman in there. At least we got, all right, so now we have everybody from the Kansas City, Tennessee game except for Rashad Bateman. So who do you like at wideout this week?
So wideout, if I'm using if I'm using Derrick Henry, I'm thinking I have to go cheaper or try to go cheaper. So, Cooper Kupp is, if I'm trying to stack Rams, Cooper Kupp is a 400, so that might be a little hard to do. It might be possible.
That's the other stack you got to consider, right? I mean, I'm sitting here stacking my team, but Darrell Henderson at 6,600. Stafford, how much was Stafford? Stafford's at 7,100. That's really high for him. Can you do that though? Can you stack Stafford, Henderson, and Kupp, and then fill in with value?
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I think you've got to try.
You'd have to look at people such as, example, like T. Higgins. He's 4,900. So that's definitely an option. You could try A.J. Brown. He's 6,300 since he's apparently the only receiver in Tennessee now. So yeah, I mean, T.Y. Hilton's back from his injury. He's 4,900. So there are people to use. It's just if you trust them to make value.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of those guys making value. All right, I found a way to fit everybody in. It requires me to use the Washington football team and Mike Gesicki. It took the entry with like 6 Chiefs in it.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow. I don't know what the limit is. I guess it would have told you.
I thought for sure there is. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this smells like a chalk week. Like, I'm looking at my value. My number one value play is Patrick Mahomes. He's also my highest scorer of the week at quarterback. My value of the week, according to the metric, at running back is Derrick Henry. He's also he's also the highest scorer. Wide receiver, it's Devontae Adams. He's also the highest scorer. This feels like a go chalk week anywhere you can. And maybe it's just because there's a couple of games where there's just teams lined up against really bad defenses. Washington is going to give up points to Green Bay. Kansas City and Tennessee are going to give up points to each other. Atlanta and Miami are going to give up a lot of points to each other. Detroit is going to get run over. This feels like one of those weeks where cash lineups, you're going to need 170 points.
At least.
You know what I mean? It just feels like one of those weeks where if you pick 1 or 2 value plays and they hit, you can just go chalk and laugh to the bank. But who are those value plays? That's the problem. And I'm not really seeing a lot of good value plays out there that I like, all right, I can feel good doing it. Well, Mecole Hardman's only 4,300. No. No. T. Higgins at 49? I mean, maybe. I'm on St. Ra at 41? Not a chance. Oh, all right, let's go to tight end. Maybe we can save ourselves a tight end. Aha! Finally, the top name on the list is not the top scorer of the week because it's CJ Uzomah at 3,000. I've got him pegged for just under 9 points. Can we trust CJ Uzomah?
I think we can now. This is definitely a different Bengal team than seasons past. As much as apparently ESPN and the media don't want to talk about them for some reason. They did win on the road. I know it was against the Lions, but it was definitely like a definitive win. So I think this is going to be a really good game against Baltimore, and CJ will be used a lot, I think.
I agree. CJ Uzomah, I think, is definitely the lead over Drew Sample. There was some question thousands of years ago over who was going to be the lead tight end there, and I think it's Uzomah. Cole Kmet is also on the list. I think Chicago's going to keep that close, and I think they are going to use him a lot. If you want to pay up a little bit, Mike Gesicki's 4,700, and again, that game I feel is going to be a shootout. So there's that. So I mean, I think so. What I'm hearing in my head is I'm going Mahomes, Henry, and then either Adams or Hill. But after that, I have got to use value, and I can save a ton of money at tight end, and by going Uzomah. So I mean, that might be what I have to do.
Now, here's a question: do you use Ertz this week? Do you trust Ertz?
No. I trust Ertz against Houston, but he just got there. I feel like he needs time before I can be. If he'd been there, if this was his 3rd week there, yeah, I'd use him without hesitation. But here's the thing: he's only 3,900 because people don't trust him there yet.
True.
So he's either going to do nothing this week, or he's going to break out. This is the question. When does Zach Ertz get used to Arizona? If you think he can contribute this week, use him, because that means this week he goes for like maybe even if it's just 5 for 50, that's 10 points. And people are going to be like, oh my God, look, he's just going to get more and more of a share. And next week he's going to be like 4,800. So you got to pick your moment. I just don't think that moment's here yet. I think it's a week off, but I could be wrong on that. I would not be shocked if he went off. If I'm sitting at this goddamn meeting on Sunday and my phone goes, Zach Ertz touchdown, I will not be shocked. I will throw my phone across the room, but I won't be shocked. Put it that way. That's not so. What I'm hearing is tight end has value galore this week. Uzomah, Kmet, possibly Ertz. These are all guys under 4K. Can I find value at defense? Sure you can. They're called the Arizona Cardinals. They're 3,100. That's not value.
Yeah.
But they're not the most expensive defense on the board. The Panthers are more expensive. The Packers are more expensive. 3,100 isn't a bad price. You know who I do like this week?
Who?
I really, and this is gutsy. This is balls. I like the Washington football team this week
against Green Bay.
Green Bay only put up 24 against the Bears. Washington could keep this close. Could even make a couple of decent plays. Their run game, their run stopping isn't horrendous. It's not great, but it's not horrendous. I mean, that might be where if I'm looking for value, if I can afford to go better, hell yeah. If I've got $900 more, I'm going with the Cardinals. But either way, it looks like this week my strategy is going to be Mahomes, Henry, super cheap tight end and defense, and then fill in the best way I can.
No, that makes sense. I think it's going to be a very chalky week this week, like you mentioned before. So you are going to have to go cheap in places, and tight end and defense is probably where we're going to have to go. Like, I don't think I would pay more than the Cardinals at 3,100.
Like, yeah, you got to come in under 3,100.
I mean, so maybe the Colts at 3,000 is not bad against San Francisco.
That's not a bad call either. Chiefs at Falcons. Bengals at 2,800. I don't really like that. Browns at 3,000. Denver at 31. Is Denver against a banged-up Cleveland a better option than the Cardinals at 3,100?
If you're playing a Thursday game, then yes.
Oh, that's Thursday.
Yeah.
What about... No, I don't want to pay 3,400 for the Pats. What about the Jets at 2,400?
Playing New England?
In New England.
I mean, maybe, Brady's gone, so...
I mean, they look like they looked good last week, the Pats. But still... You know who? Oh my God! I just looked down the list. Did you see the Rams are $5,000?
Poor Detroit.
Are you kidding?
I mean, being a Bengal fan, I feel bad for Detroit. I really do.
Who in the holy hell is going to pay $5,000 to use the Ram defense?
Someone will.
Not a chance in hell. I also think Tampa being 4,000 is way too high. Way too high. Wow. Okay, so there's my advice on DFS this week, folks. There is solid chalk at quarterback, running back, and wideout. Use 2 or 3 of those if you can, and then go cheap, very cheap at defense and tight end. There's a lot of value there, and then just fill in as best you can. All right, so let me just toss this out there before we move on to final thoughts. Let's say a general cash pool, a double-up cash pool, $25 entry, just regular run-of-the-mill, mid-tier entry fee.
Yeah.
What's the ownership percentage on Derrick Henry this week in DraftKings at 9,200?
He's going to be over 85%, I think.
That's what I'm thinking too. 80 to 90%. So there's there's the one guy. Here's the balancing act. You can follow the field there, because the reality is he's probably going to get it. There's a 90% chance he gets in the end zone, gets at least 100 yards, because Kansas City's bad. But what if he doesn't? What if he comes up lame and pulls a calf muscle and they pull him just to be safe? And all of a sudden, now you've got Mahomes and Hill out there instead. You know what I mean? And you could sit there and say, well, the same thing could happen to Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely true. Patrick Mahomes ain't going to be 85% owned.
That's true too.
That's the thing. If you're going to fade a chalk player, you want to fade the chalk player. All things being equal, you want to fade the chalk player with the high ownership rate. Ownership rate isn't as important in cash games as it is in tournaments. But if I'm sitting there and I say to myself, I want Mahomes, I want Henry, and I want Hill, but I can only use 2 of those 3, I'm fading Henry. Not because he won't do well, but because if he's the one that doesn't do well, it hurts more people not named Britt.
That is true.
Now, I say that, and then he goes out and I don't use him, and he goes out there and has 45 points, I'm losing. Yeah. Because 80% of the lineups have that 40 points. But it's something to consider. I take a balanced approach. I do 3 lineups every week, and I do 2 lineups based mainly on the theories that we present here. And then I look and I go, oh, I use Derrick Henry in both those lineups. I'm not using Derrick Henry in the third. I'll use a different chalk player. I didn't use Hill in any of them. I'll make sure I use Hill here. And that usually balances me out. And if everybody has a good week, well, then I win across all these different pools because somebody has to make a decision somewhere. But what if I lose $50 on those Derrick Henry pools, but win $150 on the one where I didn't have him?
Right. That's true.
That's the thing. It's a balancing act. You have to sit there and balance it out. So I'm going to use that as my final thought before I throw it over to Craig. It's just because I feel really good about Derrick Henry, but injuries happen without warning. COVID happens without warning in some of these cases. We find out the day of that somebody's not eligible to play. Stuff happens. Make sure that you don't get stuck. If there's going to be a high ownership person, make sure you're on the right side of it in a cash game. Craig, what's your final thought this week?
Along the same lines, like last week, I went heavy with the same couple players and it did not work out. So definitely diversify your lineups. Like don't make 15 different lineups. Like
oh my God,
I would say 3 to 5 lineups at the most. 3 is a good number, but if you want to like do a crazy tournament lineup, you do that. That's fine. And then, with online betting being legal now in Connecticut, just a reminder, as we have on our website, just take it easy when you start doing it, because it is just like going to the casino. You hit buttons, things flash, it makes noises. Sounds good when you win, so just pay attention to what you're winning and or losing and how long you've been doing it.
And let me just add on to that, because that's a great final thought right there. Thank you, Craig. Just let me add on to that. Stick to your budgets. Stick to your budgets. A very long-standing rule of mine is when I go to the casino, I go to the bank first. I take out whatever money I'm going to be planning on betting that day, and I leave the debit card at home.
Yep.
Dinner can go on the credit card, because no matter how crazy no matter how intoxicated or crazy, I usually don't drink when I gamble just because it's bad for me. But no matter how crazy I have gotten at times, I have never. If I reach for that credit card and all of a sudden someone goes, "Oh yeah, you can get a cash advance. You're gonna be paying for the rest of your life." It's like 67% interest compounded hourly. But so I don't ever do that. But that's how you can sit there and say, "Okay, control." Same thing here. The difference is it's real easy to click that deposit button.
Oh, it really is.
It really. Oh, I blew through that $50. I got another $50 I could waste. Be careful. Budget yourself. Stay on top of it. Now, that being said, DraftKings threw me a few freebies, and
FanDuel threw me some money, so I'm not gonna not use it.
Yeah, let's just say there's more money in there, real money in there, than I put in there, and there's still more, promo money to be used. So I think the real money is coming out, and when the promo money is gone, it's time for the fancy lights to stop spinning. Not to mention, I don't really like video-based gambling. Yeah. I want to see cards in front of me. It's harder for you to fix a deck of cards while I'm sitting there watching you shuffle it than it is for a computer to say, "Oh yeah, you had aces and you're going to split them. Here's a 3 and a 2. Good luck."
Oh, you bet on red, and red's come out the last 4 spins. Oh, it's black now. Black again. Black 000. Black. Oh, you bet on black now? Hey, look, it's red again.
Oh wow! What are the odds are normalizing? See, there's just something. And I understand there's complex algorithms that go in to make sure that those. There's just something for me about sitting with cards in my hand when it comes to my gambling.
Yeah. Now listen, if you're at the casino and you don't want to pay for drinks, if no one knew this, you get free drinks if you're gambling, right? You could
yes.
Usually. If you want to just kind of be by yourself and drink for free, you could just sit at the bar with video poker, because that also counts as gambling, and just get free drinks. Just saying. Yeah.
Oh, I can one up you there. I think you know this story, but I know we're way over time. But I remember one time I was at the casino. This is going back like 10 years. I was at the casino and I was playing so poorly. I was down to like my last $30. So when I get down to like a certain point like that, I'm like, fuck it, it's time to go bet highlight.
Oh, nice.
And I ended up in the sports book.
Can we do that in Connecticut? Because I'll do that right now.
Yeah, I don't think so, but we really should be able to. I would look into it. I ended up at, like, I think it was Mohegan Sun's sports book, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bet like $10 on Highlight. And I got my tickets, and I sat down at the bar, and I just chucked the tickets on the counter next to me. And the guy went, "Are you drinking?" And he points at me, and he points at the tickets, and he points at me, and he points at the tickets. And I'm like, "What does that mean?" He goes, if you're betting, you drink for free as long as you have an active ticket. I'm like, "Well, I just bet $5 each on the next 3 games of Highlight. That's 90 minutes to 2 hours. I can easily drink $20 or $30 worth of beer in the time it takes for these tickets to resolve. So line them up."
So you're like, yes.
Line them up. I just put $10 into your magical Highlight machine, and now you're telling me I get to drink free as long as one of these tickets is still active? Well, line them up. And that's exactly what I got sauced. Nice. I must have had, and I hit on one of the tickets.
Did you?
So now I've had like 4 beers. I hit on like the second game. Now my first thought is I just won like $30 because Highlight doesn't pay much.
Yeah.
I won like $30. If I take the 20 and toss 10 more in, I can be here for another 90 minutes. But they're going to take me out of here on a stretcher. And finally, I was just to the bartender. I actually took that extra 10. I just tipped the bartender and thanked him for the
nice
good service. Well, he's just handed me free beer. So, I mean, but yeah, I really should be talking about this. But anyway, you know what I should be talking about? I should be talking about how you can help our show by leaving us a review. Whatever podcast directory you listen to us on, Spotify, Apple, Player FM, iHeartRadio, we're on so many now it's impossible to name them all. Leave us a review. Give us some feedback. If you'd like to talk to us directly, we are available via email, fignutsdfs@gmail.com. We are at fignutsdfs on Twitter, and we're the Football Fignuts Podcast on Facebook. It's hard. It's funny how fast this time goes.
It is.
It really is.
The season goes by quickly.
Yeah, and the episodes. Like when we got to the metric, I was like, oh man, we have all sorts of time. Now we're almost over an hour already. I can't believe it.
Crazy, right?
So, Craig will be back next week. I will not, because I'm going to go do some Halloween-y stuff next week. I will be actually sitting in a brewery listening to ghost stories, and I can't wait. So hopefully one of our fine contributors will be joining you next week.
We'll see what happens.
Thursday shift. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But until then, enjoy the football. We thank you for joining us. Hi to Deb.
Hi, Deb.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
I did that backwards. We are the Football Fignuts Podcast. Have a great week, everybody.